good. Well,
I can control my volume here.
I'll do a welcome, and then I'll do a welcome. I think that's probably good. Well, welcome everyone. I know we're coming in, and it's a little bit different today than it normally is. Hi everyone. I invite you to take a yoga mat in the back if you'd like, or come set up in the middle. And if you'd prefer, there are chairs around the outer ring. And just so we've got a show of hands, if you've got an empty chair near you, for the folks who are coming in, will you raise your hand so they know they can come sit near you? All right. There's a fair amount of you, so I think we probably don't need to add any more. But if at any point in the next hour or so, you think something else is needed, for example, you're lying on the floor and you think, gosh, I wish all of those lights were off. Just do it. Make space for your neighbor. Take the space that you need. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Rochester. I'm the Reverend Sherry Halliday-Kwan, but for those of you who are regulars around here, you will see that I've swapped my usual outfit. Yes, I'm still wearing all black, but it's a little bit slouchier today. Normally I try to look like I'm elegantly floating into a puddle. Today I'm just elegantly floating onto the floor in my black slouchy pants, because today is Yoga Sunday. And we've done it a couple of times before in the Sunday between Christmas and New Year's, or as we find ourselves now in the middle of Hanukkah. We do it as we slow down and prepare for the next year. So I'm especially delighted to welcome a member of our congregation, Jenny Gall, who will be teaching yoga today. Thank you, Jenny, for being with us today. And John Wiesenthal is going to be playing some music for us throughout the hour. Today is, as I said, a sort of unusual day, a day where you take the space you need, where you make space for your neighbor. And we hope that we practice that throughout the year in lots of different ways, but it's a very particular kind of practice that we're doing today. It's a practice that invites us to move what we're thinking about, what we're feeling, and be in our bodies. Now, there are a couple of ways we do that throughout our time over the course of the year, and one of them is that we physically light a chalice. It's one of the few rituals in Unitarian Universalism that connect us with other congregations. Right now, at this very moment, there are hundreds of other people lighting a chalice. And over the course of this morning, thousands of congregations and people will do this very thing to mark our time together. And so Glenn Cook is going to offer a reading. Is the green light on, Glenn? Oh, the green light is on. Okay. Oh, Glenn, how about the pulpit? And while Glenn is moving, normally we ask someone before the service to light a chalice, but I thought today, we never do an open call. And I'd love it if you'd raise your hand if you've always wanted to light the chalice, or in fact, you've lit the chalice a lot, but you still always want to light the chalice. Would you raise your hand? And obviously I can't pick everybody, but I'd like to know, well, John, you've got the gig. Your commute is the shortest. But I do wonder, are there others of you who, if not today, in the future, would love to be asked, and I just haven't asked you? That's good to know. That's good to know. That's good to know. All right. So, John, I'll invite you and Nancy together to light, if you're willing, to light the chalice, and you just press that button.
This is entitled Burning the Old Year by Naomi Shihab Nye. Letters swallow themselves in seconds. Notes, friends tied to the doorknob. Transparent scarlet paper sizzle like moth wings marry the air. So much of the year is flammable. Lists of vegetables, partial poems, orange swirling flames of day. So little is a stone. Where there was something and suddenly isn't, an absence shouts, celebrates, leaves a space. I begin again with the smallest numbers. Quick dance, shuffle of losses and leaves. Only the things I didn't do crackle after the blazing dies.
Thank you, Glenn. We'll continue with a song. Ooh.
It's not.
There you go.
All right. Everyone, I am thrilled that all of you are saying yes to yoga today, because this is a practice that is so dear my heart. It's one of my main spiritual practices. So I'm so glad to share it with you. I do have a few housekeeping things to say, though. Number one, you are responsible for how you feel in your body. Okay? So I'm trusting you as we move through some practices that you listen to your body and do what you can. This is not a performance. It's not about, holding it for 100 minutes, and it's not that at all. So please just listen to your body. And if by some chance you feel a sharp, localized pain, you know you've gone too far. So I recommend you sit down. If you're on the mat, maybe just come back to lying with your knees up. Okay? Thumbs up, everybody can. Thank you. All right. So what I'd like to begin with is just a gentle, I'm so glad you have a mat. Yeah, no, it's going to hurt. So what I'd like to begin with, and I think because we have folks that are doing yoga in the chair and people on the floor, I'm going to show the chair movement first, and then I'll show what you can do on the mat. All right? So I like to think of yoga as kind of having three parts. First, we open our body in ways that will allow us to move to, in the middle of the practice, something that's a little more challenging. And yoga is challenging, there's no doubt about it. And I hope, you'll ease into, relax into that challenge. Okay? All right, so first, with folks at the chair, the one challenge in yoga is we're not always sitting like this, like we're watching TV. So I'm going to encourage you guys on the chair to see if you can feel your head. And you can try this on the floor too. Actually, folks on the floor, you could actually lie down on your back with your knees up. Okay? So people on the chair, see if you can imagine there's this tall thread, just pulling yourself gently up, lifting your chest. And you can feel those bottom parts of your pelvis sitting on the edge of the chair. See if you can bring yourself to that length. Okay? And you're going to feel, too, that your chin is sliding back just a bit. All right? People on the floor, I invite you to inhale. And then as you exhale, just let your legs just drop to the right. And see if you can keep both feet on the floor. And people on the chair, I want you to inhale and then exhale, moving your right leg away. And then inhaling, bringing your right leg back in. Okay? Inhaling out the left side, actually inhaling and then exhaling. And then bringing your leg back as you inhale. Okay, and same with folks on the floor. You're going to inhale up so that your knees are again pointing up, and then exhaling to the other side. And I invite you to feel, what does it feel like to have your feet on either edge of the long side of the mat? A little more spread. So the one way that yoga can help us bring ourselves into our body is by matching our breath with our movement. So I invite both folks in the chair and on the mat to see if you can match your breath with your leg movements. Okay? So once again on the chair, you're inhaling up tall and then moving your right leg, exhaling out, and then exhaling in, exhaling out, exhaling in. And can you feel, folks on the chair, can you feel yourself pressing away with your toes as you move with your breath and you lift your leg? Okay? And folks on the mat, listen to your body. Maybe you want to stay in one spot. You might feel more of an opening in your hip. Okay? So 3 more rounds, everybody. Can you follow, matching your movement with your breath? Inhaling to center, knees are together. And then exhaling as you move your knees out to the side, your legs out to the side. It's challenging, but you can do it. 2 more breaths. Great. All right, and inhaling back to stillness. Have your body come to a stop. So now we're going to open up our back body, and if you have a strap nearby, I think I gave some people on the mat a strap. We're going to open up our back body. And Susie, could I borrow this for a minute? So folks on the floor, you're going to keep both legs bent and then hook the strap if you have a loop, or if it's too fussy, you can just keep your strap around your heel, holding it with both hands. And you're going to just press up to the ceiling. See if you can extend your leg. And if your leg is like this, then you just give yourself more strap. Okay? Keeping your leg active. And find your breath as you try that. People on the chair, see if you can extend one leg, right? And as we extend away from our body, that's when we can inhale. And then, any amount, can you bring your leg close? And at the same time, see if you can lift your lower back as well, keeping your back extended. All right? People on the mat, if you wish, you can switch to the other leg. And again, we're matching our movements. Okay? Inhaling. Exhaling as you come closer. And then people at the chair, you can extend your leg as far as you can. Okay. Yep. And then release when you've felt you've had a few breaths there. All right. Folks on the floor, I want you to let your legs come down. Now, this is the delicious part of yoga, everybody. Find your tall spine on the mat. You can just relax and notice your body. Notice your legs. Does it feel different in any way? Sometimes it helps to close your eyes. Find your breath. With each each inhalation, you're growing longer. Chin gently sliding back toward your throat. And your mind is going to wander, and you just gently bring it back. All right. Wonderful, yogis. So now I invite people on the mat. Can you come up to your all four? So you'll roll to your side. Roll to your side, and then come up to all four. And people at the chair. So let's get ready for some cat-cow. So we'll be at the edge of our chair, and I'm going to show the chair first. And folks who know cat-cow, you can just dive right in. And my goal as we work through this is, can you match your breath with the movement you're making, okay? So if you're in the chair, now you have permission to slouch. So everybody's slouching back, listening to your body as much as feels good in your lower back, okay? And now we're going to inhale up again, lifting from the sternum. And then slouching back. You can almost feel yourself rolling back off of those bottom parts of your pelvis. And then inhaling, the movement comes, you're lifting the spine. So a few more time, yogis on the chair. I'm just going to see how people on the floor are doing. Yep. Can you feel that flexion, that curving of your spine? Great. Okay. So people on the floor, if you feel comfortable, you could try to press yourself back into child's pose. You're sitting back on your heels and your thighs. And people on the chair, you've got your spine lifted, inhaling, and then any amount, can you just fold forward a little bit? Maybe you could put your hands on your thighs, if that feels good. Okay? And maybe widen your knees a little bit. It'll be a little easier to bend forward. Okay? And let's notice our breath. See how it fills our back body. Inhaling, filling the back body. And exhaling. Maybe you can fold forward a little more. If you're on the floor, you might rock a little bit. Gently rock side to side. Wake up the hips. All right. So now for both folks, bring your hands to your thighs, and with the strength of your arms, you're going to press yourself up so that your torso is again perpendicular. Wonderful. Okay, so now what I'd like to move toward is downward facing dog. But I'd invite folks who want to try it on the chair to try it on the chair. And yogis on the floor, if you're familiar with downward dog, go right ahead and try it. If you're not, I'll show you in a little bit. But everybody at a chair, could you stand? If you're willing and able. If you're not, then you can stay where you're at, okay? So we're going to try at the chair. You're going to stand behind your chair, or you can turn around. Actually, yogis, I'm going to halt that. Why don't you turn around so you can face the chair like this, okay? And bring your hands to the top of the chair. Yogis on the mat, bring yourself out of downward dog whenever you feel ready, when you feel you need a little break. So everybody at the chair, can you start to walk your feet back, holding on to the top of the chair. Keep walking your feet back and see, is it possible that you can have a long spine there? Okay? So imagine you're in cat-cow. You're making the cow. You're slouching. Slouch your spine. And now see if you can tuck your tailbone and now lengthen your spine. Can you lift your tailbone? Excuse me, yogis. Can you lift your tailbone? Yeah. So, awesome, folks. Great effort. Okay, so now everybody at the chair, bend your leg, your right leg, and step forward. And then with the strength of your hands, press yourself up to standing. Okay, everybody who can turn around the other way. Yeah. And yogis on the floor, why don't you come back? You can just lie down on the mat for a minute. Stretch out. Okay, take a break. I did a lot of talking while you were in downward dog. So yogis on the standing up, take a minute, find your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Bring your attention to your feet. Okay. And now gently, I'm going to have the yogis on the mat also find Tadasana. So press back up into all four. Okay. And then you're going to walk your hands up and come up to standing, whatever you need. Okay. All right. So, while we're in Tadasana, I can't remember, Sherry, did we have a middle reading? Or do I just...
We do.
I think we're okay.
Okay.
I think we can move on. Okay, so... flexible. We're so flexible. So, when I took my yoga training some years ago, I discovered Tadasana. It's just a great pose, and we don't give it a lot of credit. So I hope you'll join me. Tadasana is the mountain pose, the standing pose. And it builds, it's like the foundation of all the other poses that we do standing. Okay? So I'd like to build it from the feet. Can you feel your feet about hip width apart? And the middle two toes are lined up with your heels, if you can. Okay? So everyone, if you can, and I know some, you might have shoes on, but give it a shot. Can everybody lift their toes up? And now let your toes go. And now we're going to lift our toes up again and really watch how that changes where your weight is in your body. On your feet. Lift your toes. It brings you back on your heels, which is cool. So now, see if you can keep that and let your toes come down. Keep that balance between your soles of your feet, the front, and then your heels. And then also try to lift your inner heels. Can you lift your inner heels? So your heels are still on the ground, but you're lifting them up. Notice how that really lights up your inner legs. All right, so as we inhale, we're reaching long, lifting the chest, the sternum. Just tucking the tailbone just a little bit. And then everybody inhale, letting your shoulders just reach up to your ears. And then let them fall. Yeah, big sigh or yawn. And feel your shoulder blades sliding toward your spine. Can you feel your chin gliding backward? So you bring yourself into your body. We'll find our breath. Inhaling. And you're inhaling up your body. And then as you exhale, exhaling down the back of your body. And with each inhalation, you feel longer and taller. And exhalation, you feel your spine working, those shoulder blades sliding toward the spine. Your heels are grounded. All right, so let's inhale and bring our arms up. Inhaling all the way up. So you can stay here, or you can clasp your hands together. And then turn your palms facing up. And inhaling, pressing. You feel your feet zooming toward the floor, your arms zooming toward the ceiling. Okay, and then exhaling down. And inhaling up again. Arms straight. Interlace your hands in a different way. Can you open them, your palms to the ceiling? And releasing. All right, bring your hands to your hips. And we're just going to do a very gentle sitting back. So inhaling, and then just pretend you're going to sit in a chair, keeping your spine lifted. And then finding your feet, pressing up through the heels. All right, and then exhaling, sitting back one more time. And pressing up. All right, so find Tadasana one more time. Remember, we're building it from the feet. Lift your toes. Lift your inner heels. And then inhaling up. And exhaling down. And we'll give ourselves a hug. Okay. Keeping that Tadasana, we're gently exhaling. Feeling our shoulder blades spreading away from the spine now. Gently pressing your elbows together. Inhaling the shoulders all the way up to your ears, and then exhaling, letting them come down, pressing the elbows together. Okay. And then we'll release. And let's switch. So check back to your feet. Are you in Tadasana? Inhaling the shoulders up. Exhaling back down. And release. Okay, yogis using a chair, please find your chair, have a seat. And yogis on the mat, we're going to do a little wide-legged pose. So you'll spread your legs wide. Okay? And yogis on the chair, I invite you, or you can take a rest. You can always rest like this, yogis on the chair, if you want. But see what it would feel like to spread your legs a little wider. And you would be up on the edge of your chair, because we really want to be sure we're having a long, natural curve to our lumbar. Okay? See if you can keep your legs active and strong. So people at the mat, let's find our wide legs, and notice your heels pressing into the mat. All right, and then bring your hands to your hips. And then any amount, we're going to fold forward, exhaling forward. And then hands to shins or hands to the floor, or I can bring people a block if they need that. All right? Put your hands on a block there. Or you can use your blanket. Put your hands on a blanket if you want. Wonderful. Okay. So now, coming back up, yogis on the mat, you're going to really inhale and then exhaling, inhaling up, engaging the core. Wonderful. All right. So now we're ready to do Warrior Two. And people at the chair, you can do Warrior Two as well. So if you're on the chair, you're going to scooch up to the edge. And then turn your left foot forward. And then have your right foot back a little bit. Okay? It'll work better if you're up at the edge of your chair. Okay? And then just see, yogis, if you can, at the chair, can you sort of stretch your right leg back a bit? Okay? And yogis on the mat, we're going to turn our our left foot perpendicular to the mat. Okay? And then the right foot will be turned in about 30 degrees. Okay? And you can bring your hands to your hips. And we want to make sure that we're not here. Oh, and then you're going to bend your left leg, Okay? Hands to hips. Rather than this for Warrior Two, see if you can level your hips. And the left knee is moving out toward the left pinky toe. Okay? And then maybe inhale your arms up. And exhaling back. So take a look at me, friends, if you're trying Warrior Two, just so you're getting the essence of it. Okay? All right. Great. Now straighten your left leg, your knee, turn your feet together, and walk your feet together, yogis on the mat. And yogis on the chair, bring your legs together. Okay? Now let's feel our body for a minute. You can bring your attention to your breath. Bring your attention to the beautiful music. All right, so let's shift to the right leg for Warrior Two. I'm going to help the yogis in the chairs first. So you're up at the edge of your chair, yogis, and then you let your left leg come back a little and see if you can find that opening, okay? And yogis at the mat, you're going to have your right foot perpendicular with the mat, left foot turned in, and then we're going to inhale and then bending the right leg. Okay. Hands to hips. Can you level your hips? All right. And find. I encourage you to bring your foot this way. Can you turn your foot? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, 3 more breaths here, yogis. Yeah. Move your arms up, inhaling up, exhaling. Wonderful. Okay, so turn your feet so they're parallel, yogis at the mat. And then walk your feet together. Wonderful. Take a minute in mountain pose. Can you find mountain pose again? Start with your feet. Wonderful. All right. So now what I'd like to do is a balance pose. And we're going to, it's tree pose, but you can do it in many different ways. And yogis at the chair, you can sit, you could just watch and keep yourself in that long mountain pose spine. Or you could try the tree pose at a chair if you want. Okay? So we're going to start here. And yogis on the mat, actually on the chair too, if you lift up your right foot and just place it next to your heel, do you feel how your right hip kind of slides out? So we'll have our right hip, our right hand to our right hip, bringing it in, and then really engaging that leg, and then maybe you're ready to balance. Okay? So at the chair, you could try that, balancing at a chair. Or you could just sit in. Right. And I had a famous yoga teacher, Judith Lassiter, says it's not about holding the pose forever and never falling over. It's how you get yourself back. That's what the balance part is. Okay? So when you're ready, switch to the other leg if you wish. See if you can keep that outer hip of the standing leg really going in. And you'll do that by lifting your inner heel, just like in Tadasana. Strength and ease at the same time. Okay, and release. Now, lest you think that yoga is all about rigor and keeping, doing your own practice, I think we should try some partner poses. Okay? So I wonder, Susie, could you model with me? Anybody who wants to try a little partner pose, this is what we do. You're going to hold each other by the shoulders, and then our legs are kind of glued together. And then we're going to see if we can both do tree pose. So she'll move her other leg up, and we'll balance.
I'll hold you up, okay?
That's it. Okay?
Ta-da!
Ta-da! So everyone, try that, just for some fun. Try it. Yes.
And lift our outer leg up to our...
You could lift it right here. Lift it right there. You don't have to go really high. Can I do chair pose with you? Or this is tree pose.
Right.
Could you put your foot down? That way I can... Okay, you ready? All right, let's start here.
Okay.
Just at your heel. Yep, now up.
I feel like I'm leaning this way too far.
That's all right.
Move
Woo!
my foot a little bit this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
There we go.
Much harder with another person.
I don't know, I think it's a little easier.
Yeah, once I get it. Thank you.
Thank you. Aw. All right, yogis. Come back in 1, 2, 3. Come on back, yogis. So if you're just giving your spouse a hug, you could just practice a little yoga at the same time. Pretty nice. Okay. All right. So what I'd like to do now is a little, actually I need to check the time because I'll go forever here. You guys want to go home. I'm sorry? More partner poses. There could be, but I don't think we're set up to do the other one. But I'll keep that in mind. Maybe I could do a class on partner poses at church. I'll keep that in mind. Okay. So what I'd like to do now is a back bend, a little easy back bend. And yogis on the mat, I'm going to give you a little bit of a challenge, and that is a good thing. All right, so yogis on the mat, I'd like you to come to kneeling, and please take your blanket, if that would help. Here, dear, I got it. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. And people at the chair, can you find your Tadasana on the chair? Remember that? Sitting at the edge of your chair. And we're not doing the slouch. We're lifting long. Okay? So we're going to work on, you're going to put your hands behind, find those knobby parts of your pelvis, and you're going to put your hands right under that and sort of push. Yeah, you're feeling like you're pushing your glute muscles down, okay? And then we're going to see, can we lift our chest, letting the chin slide back, and keeping your elbows. You're trying to pin, inhaling, moving the elbows closer together, lifting the spine gently, and this is where I trust you to listen to your body, yogis, okay? And people on the mat, we're going to try a little bit of camel. This is Ustrasana. Okay? Pressing your shins into the mat, lifting your chest with each inhalation. And then as you exhale, can you feel your sternum lift, feel your elbows moving toward each other, tucking the tailbone a little bit. And release. So come back on all four, folks on the yoga mat. And you can just do a little cat-cow. People on the chair, you can do a little cat-cow too, remember? You're going to roll back on your pelvis, and then rolling back up, and rolling back, and rolling up. Wonderful. Okay, so now I'd like folks on the mat, see if you can sit comfortably. Take a block or your blanket, and see if you can sit crisscross applesauce. Oh, that's not a yoga pose. Sorry, that's teacher talk. Sukhasana. Okay, and folks at the chair, you're all seated. So now we're going to do just a very gentle twist. You're lifting your arms up, and then gently turning toward your left, bringing your arms down. The right arm is on the right thigh. And we'll just stay here a minute. You're lifting, inhaling long, and then turning any amount that you can. And please, yogis, listen to your body here. And then keeping that length in your spine, can you inhale back to center? And then we'll inhale our right arm up and twisting gently, long spine, lifting your lumbar, and then gently rotating. Inhaling long and then gently rotating any amount. All right, and then keeping that long spine, inhaling back to center. And then everybody, chair and people on the mat, see if you can walk forward. And people on the floor, can you have your ankles right below your knees? So you're going to spread your ankles a little wider if you can. Listening to your body. Fold forward just a little bit. People at the chair, keep your spine long, folding forward. Breathing into your back body. All right. And then with the strength of your arms, press yourself up. So now we have a very special pose called Shavasana, which it can sometimes be the hardest pose to do because you're quiet and you're left witnessing yourself and your body. And sometimes that can be a little tricky. But sometimes it can be wonderful also. So people on the mat, I'm going to invite you, take Shavasana that you like, or bring your legs up on a, oh, we don't have chairs, never mind, take that, I take that back. Lying down, knees bent, definitely a blanket under your head, okay? And people on the chair, now you can just rest a little bit. So you're going to scooch back in your chair so you have a nice support in your back. You can even let your legs relax a little bit. Close your eyes. Okay? Hi. Can I put that on your head? There you go. You're welcome. So now we're going to check, bring our mind into our bodies. Okay. So, I invite you to bring your attention to your feet. And as you inhale, can you just curl your feet a little bit? A little tension there. And then exhaling, let it release. And then moving up, can you become aware of your calves? Can you kind of activate your calves a little bit? Inhaling and then exhaling, let the calves release. And then moving toward your thighs, can you just gently clench your thighs as you inhale? And then exhale, let them release. And we come up to our inner groin. Can you tense that inner groin a little bit? And then release. And then come to your pelvis area, your glutes. See if you can tense those up a little bit. Inhaling. And then releasing. As you inhale, maybe just clench your abdomen just a little bit. And then exhaling, let it go. And then inhaling, bringing your shoulders up to your ears. And letting your shoulders go. Inhaling, clenching your hands, your arms. And then let them go. Inhaling, kind of clenching up your jaw, clenching your eyebrows, the face, and then let it release. Open the forehead muscles, let the jaw relax. So I invite you to walk through that scan of your body again and notice those places that are tight. And then you can breathe into that tight area. And then let it release. So you inhale, you find that tight area in your body. You're breathing into that tightness. And then as you exhale, you're just letting it go. It's washing out. It's sliding down into the earth. And find compassion for yourself because your mind will wander. You see the thoughts, you can just think of them as clouds. Just gently popping each cloud and bringing it back. So I have a final reading for today. It's a breath practice. So it's called the essential breath. Let's see, can you let your breath do what it will? So you begin to rest your attention on your exhalation and let your awareness travel down the length of an exhalation. Let's try that for a few breaths and enjoy that sensation of breath effortlessly leaving the body. Did you feel that momentary pause that follows the end of the exhalation? This pause may be brief, a momentary hesitation, yet something very special happens in that pause. No need to manage it, just relax and let it happen. Let yourself surrender to the restfulness, the pause you may find that it lengthens on its own accord. And you trust that the next breath can arise out of that pause without you grabbing for it. So within this pause, there's no thought and no movement. You may experience it as a pregnant silence, much like the silence you feel when you enter a forest. The new breath arises out of this pause. The next moment arises out of this pause. The inhalation is born out of the stillness of the pause, and the exhalation dissolves into it. So this pause is a well, a resource that is always available to you. Know that at any time when you feel tired or confused, hurried or overwhelmed, you can draw from this well for rest and replenishment simply by entering the pause at the end of the exhalation, without anticipating or projecting the outcome of the next moment. Can you wait and see what the next breath brings? So now gently you can start to move your toes, move your fingers a little bit, maybe wet your lips. And yogis on the floor, when you're ready, you can roll to a side, and I invite you to stay there for a few breaths. And then with the strength of your arms, gently press yourself up to sitting. Maybe let your head come last. Find a comfortable posture, comfortable seated posture. So I think we're moving to something else.
We're moving to something else, to our days, to connection. Before we depart this place, I invite you into two of our regular practices of embodiment. Each week, we light candles. We invite everyone in the congregation to light a candle, honoring the grief, the growth, or the gratitude that's alive in your life. A chance to arise from your seat or raise a hand and to externalize in movement and in your bodies what you're carrying inside. We also take up a collection, an offering to support the work and witness of Unitarian Universalism. And we pass baskets or invite people to give online. These are two of our practices that embody what is going on for us. Today was a glimpse, a tending of our spiritual homes, the homes that carry our spirits throughout this world. And I'm so grateful to all of you for saying yes to yoga today, for joining Jenny and John and Gabe up in the AV loft and making all that we do possible. After you leave this room, and there's no rush at all, I invite you to connect with others, to grab a cup of coffee, or if you're new or newish here, each week we have a gathering called Inquirers. And today we're talking about social justice. That'll be in room 119, which is right through those doors over there with me. Just a reminder, next week will be different, not only because we won't be in a circle on the floor, but we go back to 2 services. So we're at 9:15 and 11:30 throughout January and February and March. We'll see you next week. Go in peace, go in love, go knowing that the next breath comes without pulling or striving. Amen.